We good?
All right, we've got Mike Petersen here. If you have a question for him, raise your hand. I'll call on you. Spencer Nussbaum, we'll start with you. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach. How are you doing today?
Good, Spencer.
Good to hear it. All season long, you've talked about, being able to play the matchups that you want to play or target the matchups you want to target against other teams. In your eyes, who on your team is Washington a particularly good matchup for? Like, who do you think might get, more playing time or might be able to exploit some things today?
Well, I think we've got to do a good job of getting open space for our wings is part of it, right? I don't think we did a good enough job of that in the Seattle series. So that'll be a part of it. And then a lot of it'll come after the substitutions happen. You know what I mean? After the rotations. So, depending on who they play, right? There's a couple of their posts that we'd like to see Cheyenne against inside, depending on who they play on the perimeter. There's a couple of matchups there that I think will be beneficial for Port and Tiff. And so a lot of it depends on rotations going game to game.
Spencer, if you have a follow-up, go ahead.
Yeah. This is the second team in a row where they really have the potential to kind of hurt you guys from outside, from the 3-point line. Do you feel like your team has taken those, perimeter defense lessons from the past couple of games? And if so, what's the biggest key to kind of keeping Washington cold or keeping Washington in check from outside?
Making sure that the people that are shooting it good for them don't get shots, right? I mean, Ariel Atkins is shooting it great from three. She just cannot take a standing three. I mean, it's a different proposition than Seattle was, because Seattle just spreads you out and all of them can shoot threes, with the exception that maybe of Mercedes Russell and Candace Dupree really doesn't shoot threes, but she's great at long twos, right? This is a team where they have very specific people that are shooting it well, right? Atkins being the primary one there. And so you just can't let those people have wide open threes. So again, we've talked about it. We focused on it. It's a little different operation than Seattle was.
Coach, I have a question from Angel Gray here.
Sure.
What kind of response are you looking for from this team to break this skid? How does that look as far as the team's leadership and chemistry, things like that?
Yeah, it's just playing hard. I mean, I thought we battled pretty good the second game against Seattle. I thought we battled really good the first 23 minutes against Seattle. You know what I mean? So as long as our effort's right, we'll live with the results. I'm not going to become a outcome-based guy where if we win and we didn't play hard, I'm happy, and if we lose and we did play hard, I'm not. It's just not, especially with this group, it's just not fair. We've got some personnel issues to overcome right now, right? We're not the same team we were 2 weeks ago. And so until we get those personnel issues resolved, we got to be able to adjust. We got to be able to play hard. And I think for the most part, we've done that. But we lost 2 games to Seattle. Stand in line. Everybody's lost 2 games to Seattle but Dallas, right? And so, you can't get – if you get too outcome-based early in a season, it's a recipe for everybody losing their minds.
Spencer, back to you. Go ahead.
Yeah. You've talked about kind of that the team is still getting open looks and they're just not necessarily falling at the rate you want them to fall. Do you feel like the team is due kind of for a game or two where the shots start falling? Do you like the looks that you're getting?
Most of them, not all, right? Not all. I thought Seattle, particularly, did some things defensively that bothered us. And Seattle also has great length. And so when they're coming to close out, it can be problematic. And again, I think we had tons of really good looks that just didn't go down. We had some wide open threes. We missed some layups. We missed some putbacks. We missed some little medium range, little floaters and such. And so if you're going to beat a team like Seattle, if we're going to beat a team like Seattle, okay, our margin for error is not very big. And so they're going to force you to take some hard shots. And when you get the easy ones, you just have to knock them down. So, I trust our players. when they get good shots, they'll knock them down. I never coached a single player in my whole career that wasn't trying to make every shot. So, we need to keep trying to create good shots. And then when they're there, we need to relax and hit them.
And go ahead, Spencer.
Sure. Before you were talking about kind of personnel, and I'm sure you were referring to Kennedy Carter specifically. But I know that the team only has 11 of the 12 roster spots up right now. Is there a plan to add someone else to the team?
If the right person's available, we'll always add someone if we have cap space in a roster spot, right? So and again, that's not, those decisions are made in cooperation with, our ownership group. And so that discussion has not happened yet. If it does, I'll give input and we have ongoing discussions, like not every day, every other day. So that relationship is good. If the right person were available, certainly we would do that. Right. And I wasn't just referring to Kennedy. I mean, Kennedy being out is a thing for sure. But, as Cheyenne works her way back to being in shape and in sync, right? That's also, and I thought her minutes in the second Seattle game were really good. But, if you ask Cheyenne, she'd tell you she's probably at about 60%, but she's a really talented player. And the way to get her back to full speed is to give her minutes. So we're going to make an investment in Cheyenne for the good of the organization to make sure that we give her a chance to work her way back to full strength. I mean, let's be honest. We haven't played a single game. We've played 10 games, right? We haven't played one game with the starting lineup that was projected by everybody before we started training camp, right? Everybody's projected starting lineup for us was Kennedy, Court, Tiff, E, Cheyenne. We haven't played a single game where those 5 people were all available. So we've been in a state of flux a little bit. We've had to change rotations and try to make it work as we go. And credit to our players. They've done a really good job with that. Really good. And so, we're just going to keep working and try to get all the pieces back in place and try to keep getting better every day.
Last thing, can you give us the few keys to beating Washington today?
Got to control Tina. I mean, it's not rocket science. She's leading the league in scoring. And the amazing thing is she's leading the league in usage rate. Okay, that statistic is almost always a statistic that a high volume, ball dominant perimeter player, right? Like Angel, okay, who's a great player, fabulous Hall of Fame player. Angel led the league in usage rate some, a Gumbawale, right? Maybe a Kennedy, right? Somebody that has the ball in their hands a lot. Tina Charles is a post, and she's leading the league in usage rate, which means they're doing a great job of utilizing her. And so we've got to control her. We can't let Adkins take standing threes, and then we've got to be in flow on offense, and we've got to create the kind of shots we want. We've got to knock them down.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.